A Year in the Life, John Lennon, 1973. 1973 was a year of turbulence and transition for John Lennon, both personally and musically. With his relationship with Yoko Ono strained and his creative output shifting direction, Lennon found himself entering what would become known as his lost weekend phase. Let's take a closer look at the highs and lows of John Lennon's life in 1973, month by month. January 1973. Separation from Yoko. The 1973 began with a major change in John Lennon's personal life, his separation from Yoko Ono. After years of intense collaboration and activism, the couple's relationship had become strained, and they decided to take a break. This separation, initiated by Yoko, marked the beginning of Lennon's so-called lost weekend, a period of personal freedom, creative experimentation, and, at times, reckless behavior. February 1973, the move to Los Angeles. In February, Lennon moved to Los Angeles, where he was joined by May Pang, Yoko's former assistant, who would become his romantic partner during the separation. Lennon's time in Los Angeles was a mix of partying, collaboration with musicians, and a newfound sense of freedom. He was ready to work on new music, but the chaos of the city also led to a period of heavy drinking and erratic behavior. March 1973. Sessions for Mind Games. Despite the upheaval in his personal life, Lennon remained focused on his music. In March, he began recording sessions for what would become his next solo album, Mind Games. The album marked a shift from the overtly political themes of Sometime in New York City to more introspective and personal songwriting. Tracks like Mind Games and Out the Blue showcased Lennon's longing for peace and his complex emotions regarding his relationship with Yoko. April 1973. Rock and roll influences resurface. April saw Lennon reconnecting with his love of early rock and roll. While working on Mind Games, Lennon started exploring the idea of recording an album of rock and roll covers, paying tribute to the music that had influenced him as a young artist. This idea would eventually take shape in his 1975 album, Rock and Roll, but the seeds were planted during this period of reflection on his roots. May 1973. Legal battles continue. Lennon's ongoing battle with the US government over his deportation continued throughout 1973. Despite the stress of his legal troubles, Lennon remained determined to stay in the United States, which he had come to consider his home. His legal team fought tirelessly to delay deportation, and Lennon continued to speak out about his right to remain in the country. June 1973, releasing the Mind Games single. In June, Lennon released the lead single from his upcoming album, Mind Games. The song reflected Lennon's desire for inner peace and universal harmony, with its lyrics calling for a collective consciousness of love and peace. Fans and critics praised the song for its dreamy, uplifting vibe, signalling a return to Lennon's more reflective and spiritual side. July 1973. Lennon and May Pang's relationship deepens. By July, Lennon's relationship with May Pang was in full swing. The pair enjoyed the freedom of their time in Los Angeles, often socializing with other musicians and celebrities. However, this period was not without its challenges. Lennon's drinking and erratic behavior at parties became notorious, but May Pang also helped bring some stability to his life, supporting his creative process. August 1973, wrapping up Mind Games. By August, Lennon had completed work on Mind Games. The album was a mix of rock, ballads and introspective lyrics, marking a more personal approach compared to his previous politically driven projects. Lennon's desire for peace and his complex emotions about love, loss and reconciliation were at the heart of the album, and fans eagerly awaited its release. September 1973. Lennon produces for other artists. In September, Lennon turned his attention to producing music for other artists. His work with Harry Nilsson in particular became infamous, as their collaboration often involved heavy drinking and late-night recording sessions. Despite the chaotic environment, Lennon remained committed to helping his friends achieve their musical vision, further solidifying his reputation as a versatile producer. October 1973, Mind Games album released. On October 29th, 1973, Mind Games was officially released. The album received mixed reviews, while some praised its introspective lyrics and lush production. Others felt it lacked the edge and political intensity of Lennon's previous work. Nevertheless, the title track became one of Lennon's most enduring solo hits, and the album solidified his place as a solo artist, navigating a new chapter of his life. November 1973, reconnecting with the Beatles' legacy. In November, Lennon began to reflect on his Beatles' legacy more openly. While he had distanced himself from the band in previous years, his time apart from Yoko allowed him to revisit his past with a fresh perspective. He expressed a sense of nostalgia and pride in his work with the Beatles, while also acknowledging his desire to move forward as a solo artist. December 1973, preparing for the new year. As 1973 came to a close, John Lennon was at a crossroads. He had released a new album, navigated a complex personal life, and continued to battle legal issues, but the future remained uncertain. With his relationship with Yoko still unresolved and his career evolving, Lennon was entering 1974 with both anticipation and uncertainty, unsure of what the next phase of his life would bring. 1973 was a year of change and challenge for John Lennon, a year where music, relationships, and personal reflection all came together to shape the next chapter in his life. Subscribe to Rock Masterpieces for more deep dives into the lives of music legends.